All right, and we're live. Welcome to the channel, y'all. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 ways, if I can press the right button, there we go, to repurpose a blog post. Just as a fair warning, I used a template on Canva. Canva's amazing and I love it. But I did not realize the template had animations until I went to go set this up. So I apologize ahead of time for any cheesy animations that may happen. Maybe it'll just make it better. I don't know. We're going to roll with it. Really quick, before we start, I do want to say that even if you do not have an active blog right now, if you create any sort of content, you are going to get value from this live, from this class. And honestly, if you create content anywhere, you can easily turn that into a blog. You can take multiple social media captions that are like from a series and you can format them into a blog. You can transcribe your video or your podcast and turn that into a blog. Get that SEO juice, y'all. Like, I am not an expert in it by any means. In fact, I'm still learning all of it, but I know that the more of a presence you have, the higher authority you're going to rank, the better it's going to be. So with all of that being said, let's dive in. So number 1, incoming with the cheesy animations, they're kind of cute though, they're kind of cute, is social media captions. So what you can do, I meant to do that for the cheesy animations there, but sorry, my cat was scratching at the door. What you can do is in your blog post, you've already got several already ready to go captions. This is great. I should have taken a screenshot from a client that I worked with, but what we did is we went through, she was really struggling to come up with captions for social, but she knew she wanted to be on there. She knew it was a priority for her, and she could not figure out where to start with writing captions. She's like, Karleigh, I want to write them ahead of time, but I don't know what to do, and so I don't post anything at all. And I found out that this woman had over 100 blog posts. And I told her, I said, girl, you have 100 blog posts, over 100, but we're just going to say 100 for math's sake because my brain don't always work. You can easily get at least 3 captions from each blog post. So that means you have at least 300 captions that you're just sitting on, which means you have 2 months shy of a year's worth of content if you were to never write another blog post. And that blew her mind. So that's what's really powerful about having written content already formatted, because once it's done, you just got to copy paste. Now, what you're going to need to do is format the hook, because you want to hook people in. That first line people see, you want to hook people in. And second, you want to add a CTA at the end, a call to action. You can ask them to like the post, ask them to comment on it, ask them to share it, ask them to save it, whatever it is. But those 2 things are the only things that you have to modify. The rest you can pull directly from the blog post. And the cool thing with using a blog post is that if you schedule out, and I do have a video on the channel about how to schedule your IG posts, or IG and Facebook posts. So go check that out. I can link that below after the video, after I'm done being live, because I didn't think about that ahead of time. But if you can take one blog post and pull your 3 to 5 captions out of that post, schedule them, and it's a series. It's one after the other. And when you have that series, people are more apt to go back and want to look at the first one. Social media posts, aside from things like Pinterest and YouTube, neither of which I really consider social media anyway, they have a really short shelf life. And so anything that you can do to pull people back in and revive that content is going to really benefit you. And if you're not sure what's good and what isn't, literally read over your post. The intro may be a good caption. The first headline could be in the image that you post on Instagram. You can make a cute graphic or cool graphic, whatever you want to do, for the caption, and then you copy paste the caption, add your CTA. And there it is. Like, it's done. It's that easy. You're sitting on a gold mine of content. And again, if you don't currently have a blog, you can use this same concept with the podcast content, with a YouTube video. Like, whatever your content creation process is, you can use this same basic idea. Also, I did not share this I don't have a slide for this, and it just popped in my head. But if you're a short form content creator, if you make TikTok videos, if you are really hitting Reels really hard, if you are hitting YouTube Shorts really hard, not so much with the audios. Well, actually, but anyway, sorry, my brain's going a mile a minute. If not so much with the audios, but like your content, like with your voiceover, you're walking people through how to do something, you can transcribe that short form video, and that can be a caption all on its own. So if you wanted to do another video, same idea, but you can use that caption, format the caption. You can use that exact same concept, do it as a static post. Use that exact same concept and turn it into 2 static posts or a carousel on Instagram. Look at the different ways that you can use your content, right? And even if this is not so much like pulling from a transcription, but if you make short form content and you use a lot of the existing audios where you add text or graphics and you're doing a little dance and you're like pointing down the thing, like you can use those basic ideas to also create a caption. So it's not quite like transcribing directly from, because you're not transcribing the audio, but you can use those points to create a caption. All right. Yeah. See, the moment I talk about this, my brain starts going. So look at the content you're creating. You have a content library. I don't care if you only have 1 blog post. You have a content library. Use that. And then the cool thing about this too is that if you're using the existing blog post for social media captions, you don't have to worry about it. Use the blog post to pull social media captions, schedule out your posts for a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever. Then you have all of that extra time to use for engagement, where you can actually engage with your audience, which I talked about last time here on the channel, where you can use that time to create more, to start transcribing more of your videos, to start transcribing your podcasts, to market your videos, to market your blog, right? Like smarter, not harder, y'all. Smarter, not harder. Oh, those cheesy graphics are so great. Okay, I could talk about this all day long, y'all. If you do not have an email list, it is time to have an email list. Karleigh, I'm not a business owner. I just write a blog. Karleigh, I'm not a business owner. I just create videos. If you want to make money doing what you're doing, you're a business owner. Whether you call it that officially or not, I don't know what my cats are doing over there. I might have to let them out. Sorry. Regardless of all of that, if you want to make money at what you're doing, you're a business owner. It doesn't matter if you're registered. It doesn't matter if, I mean, that's not legal advice. Obviously, get registered, do everything legally. But like, it doesn't matter how you think of it currently, start your email list. Even if you're like, I'm not monetized, start your email list. Even if you're like, Karleigh, I just started my channel, I have 0 subscribers, start the email list. Karleigh, I just posted my very first blog, start your friggin' email list. Like, do it. Do the dang thing. Let me let my cats out before they absolutely lose their mind. Give me 1 sec. All right, we are back. I let the cats out, so we should be good to go. But anyway, so all of my rant about an email list. If you don't know where to start, I highly recommend Flowdesk. You can find my affiliate link down in the description. I've been using them for a little over a year now. It's easy. It is very, very, very affordable, and not like, oh, it's affordable. It's only $500 a month. Like, it's less than $20 a month when you use my link. So I'm just saying. But anyway, back to the point at hand. Use your blog posts as emails. Like I say here, you can set it as a solo email or as a series. If you have a library of content, you have enough content to email out your list. If you're sitting here stressed that you're going to forget, if you're stressed that you don't know what to say, but you're a content creator, stop worrying. Because we get in this cycle of trying to reinvent the wheel. And we're like, okay, I'm going to invent a car. And I refuse to use the existing tires. I refuse to use the existing motors. I'm going to start completely from scratch. And I'm doing it myself. I'm going to invent this, which is dumb. You can create your own car, but use wheels that already exist. Stop trying to figure out how a circle works. Stop trying to figure out how to create your own motor with no existence. Use a base, right? Your existing content is your base. And when you use your existing content, you have no excuse not to have an email list. Because even if you have nothing to sell them right now, even if you feel a little bit too awkward to really promote your post to them, even if you feel a little bit too awkward to be like, hey, go watch my video, listen to my podcast, whatever, start nurturing that audience. Get in the habit. And then what you can do is you can take your blog posts. If you want to set each post as a solo email, if you have a shorter blog post, you can schedule that. Again, format it. End it with a call to action. Ask them to interact with you and start it with, hey, right? Like maybe make it a little bit more friendly, but take that, schedule it, send it off to your list. Oh my gosh, now my other cat's doing it. Sorry, y'all. One sec. These cats are going to be the death of me. But anyway, bringing it back in. Schedule it out and send it to your list. Or even better, what you can do is you can take a blog post and turn it into multiple emails, where you can take that post and you can use each major heading as an email. So like you can use your intro and the first heading section is email 1. You can use the second section, add in a little intro that to just tie in the email before. Use that as your, my cat scratching at the door again, and it's so distracting. Schedule them out, header to header, right? And then in the last email, in the last section, wrap it up with the conclusion again, and then just make it a CTA. You can promote a new freebie that you have. Then you can promote your podcast. Or you can just say, I'm going to have another email for you next week. Peace. Like whatever you need to do, start use your content to send out to your list. Don't overthink it. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just do the dang thing. All right. Oh, this animation is going to be the death of me. All right. So LinkedIn article. This right here, if you are not, and this, I am preaching to myself. I have been slacking on LinkedIn so much for my other channel, my other business where I help survivors of abuse and I want to be a public speaker. I've slacked. I have not yet created a LinkedIn account for that content nerd for content repurposing. That is something, and I've already got enough content. I've got no excuse, but I wanted to preface that with saying you're not alone if you are not on LinkedIn. But the reason that this is so incredibly important is that we overthink LinkedIn. I am someone who is a weird chick with piercings who's soon to be covered in tattoos with blue hair and an undercut. I was like, people like me don't belong on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is going to reject me. LinkedIn is my corporate nightmare. That's not what LinkedIn is. LinkedIn is a place for you to up-level your connections and expand your network. LinkedIn, getting linked into a group. And yes, it doesn't matter. If you think you're too weird for LinkedIn, there are weirdos like you on LinkedIn. If you are thinking that you are not professional enough, there are other people that are not professional enough that aren't professional enough on LinkedIn. You need to be on LinkedIn. All right. And that's my whole spiel on that. But there are these things, if you're not familiar, called articles, which are essentially blog posts. It's searchable within LinkedIn. They're blog posts within the actual LinkedIn atmosphere, ecosystem. There we go. I know words. But you can take your blog post, maybe clean it up a little bit, maybe change some links, figure that out, and post that as an article on LinkedIn. Now you're building a content library on LinkedIn. So when people are searching the thing that you're talking about, your article is going to come up and people are going to find you. You can schedule these out. You can have these go out. And then what you can do is you can pull quotes from that, pull little captions from that, also use that as posts for LinkedIn to drive people back to the article and have the article drive people back to your actual website, or drive people to book an appointment with you, or drive people to connect with you to have you speak at their event. It's, y'all, there's so much. There's so much. But anyway, I think we understand why LinkedIn is important. Okay, so if you are a blogger and you do not have a podcast, I truly believe that you should have a podcast. This is for multiple reasons, but mostly for the fact that podcasts, I really need to paint my nails. I feel like this is really distracting. I'm sorry, my nails are trash. Podcasts are very, very intimate. Like, I listen to podcasts throughout the day, every single day. There very rarely a day goes by where I don't listen to a podcast. I listen to it while I'm in the shower. I listen to podcasts while I'm doing dishes. I listen to podcasts while I'm working. I listen to podcasts while I'm in the car. I listen to podcasts after my son's in bed and I'm journaling. Like, it's a major part of my day, and it's in my ears, in my head, and I'm hearing a voice, and I am connecting to the podcaster. And again, Karleigh, I don't know what to say. I'll run out of things to say on a podcast. What am I going to do? You have a library of content. Use it. Use the library of content. So just like we talked about with the email list and with the LinkedIn articles, you can choose to make a blog post one podcast episode, or you can choose to make it shorter podcast episodes. So you can turn your blog into a script for a podcast. And that's what I did when I first started my podcast, a year and a half. Oh my God. Oh, it's going to be 2 years this year. Wow. That just hit me. So 2 years ago, I started my podcast, and that's what I did because I already had a bunch of blog posts because I was a blogger at the time. And I was like, okay, all of this is good. I want to start a podcast. I'm just going to use these as scripts. And I started by reading them verbatim. It wasn't perfect. It sounded awkward, but I started. And then what I learned to do is while I was reading it verbatim, I would mark my spot, like somehow make so I wouldn't forget where I was. And then I'd expand on a point, or I would summarize a point. Like, as I got better at reading from the script, and as I got better sitting in front of the microphone, my speech patterns became more clear and it became less robotic. And now I'm to a point where sometimes I have an outline and sometimes I just word vomit, because I'm just like, okay, there's something on my heart and on my soul, and I truly believe this needs to be talked about. So I'm going to talk about it. That's the power of starting with the blog. And if you don't have to progress in that way. You can always read word for word from your blog. You can always just pull points, whatever it is you want to do. But you can easily use that blog as a script for a podcast. And then you can take, and I've already talked about this at length, but then you can take that podcast and you can create audiograms and for posts on TikTok, on Reels, as static little video posts, as Instagram stories, as TikTok stories now. TikTok stories are a thing. I don't understand. But anyway, you see where I'm going with this. If I could press the right button, that would be number 5, and make sure you hang out because I have a bonus at the end that I'm actually really excited about. And I've already kind of added some bonuses, but we're just going to go all in. So number 5, same idea as for the podcast. Use the blog as a script for a video. So this is in the order that I did it. I started out as a blogger, and then I turned that into a script for a podcast. And then as I got comfortable in front of the mic for a podcast, I was like, okay, I want to add a camera into this. And then what I started doing is I used the blogs as a script for a video. And then I would pull the audio from the video and use that for my podcast. So I shifted over time how I did things, but it didn't make it all that much more complicated, except I had to put on a bra and put my face on for when I was doing video versus I didn't have to do that for when I had a podcast. That was the only difference. Then I could set that up, and I was creating once. I was recording one time, and I had content for YouTube. I had content for my podcast, and I had content for my blog, and I had content for social media. I mean, if you're not doing it, I get it if you're not doing it, but if you're not doing it, you're missing out. You are missing out. Okay, y'all, here is a bonus. This is something that I need to do more of personally, and I don't know why I haven't done more of it. Is just like we talked about, when you're grabbing for social media, when you're grabbing captions for social media, you are grabbing pieces for captions. Those pieces that you pulled out for captions, you can use as scripts for Reels, TikTok, Shorts. You can use them as ideas for what you're going to put on the little text thing if you're using trending audios. Or you can use it to create your own content where you're doing a voiceover or you're just recording yourself talking. You add some background music. I've talked about how to make TikToks where it's watchable. Go check it out on the channel. I've got lots of good stuff on there. But when you use this content for idea generation and recording reels and TikToks, it takes all the excuses out of it, and you are going to be able to get more content out for less time, less effort, and less mental energy because you're not having to think. And when you get into this groove of, okay, I am like just busting out content and I don't have to think about it a lot and I don't have to like work really hard in order to have something come to my mind, your brain is naturally going to give you better ideas more often over time. Because right now people get so stressed from not having ideas, but when you take away the pressure, ideas flow. That's not woo, it's fact. All right, just saying. All right, so we talked about this earlier. Stop trying to reinvent the dang wheel. The wheel exists. Use the wheel. Use your existing content. You work too dang hard on the content you put out, and it is not doing the work it needs to do for you. You are putting your heart and soul into that, and it is not giving you anything back. It is time to make it hustle. So if this all stands out to you and you don't really know where to start, or you have started repurposing, but you're feeling a little overwhelmed, you don't know, what platforms to focus on, where to put your attention and energy, the guidebook is the place to be. 100%. This is going to help you not only track your content, not only figure out what platforms are going to work for you, but it's going to help you create a workflow that's going to save you time instead of adding time, where you can create half as much content and produce 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times the results. No, it is not too good to be true. The link for the guidebook is down in the description. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a DM on Twitter at thatcontentnerd. Right over other side, right here, that content nerd on Twitter, or comment below. I'm here to help. I geek out on this stuff so freaking hard. The guidebook was created for content creators. It was created by a single mom who was doing too much and couldn't figure out what to do. And then all of a sudden I found a system and it started working. And once the system started working, that's when I started geeking out about it and I started talking about it and I realized that other people needed help. So the link for that is in the description. Go check out the guidebook. It is very much affordable, although the price is going to be going up soon. So if you're wanting to grab it now before the price goes up. So that is not the button I wanted to press. Sorry, y'all. StreamYard gives you lots of options, and I don't really know what I'm doing at the moment. I'm working on it, but I'm starting messy, and I'm making it happen. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, y'all. I will be back on Monday with another live, and I got a really good live schedule. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you don't miss it. Thanks for hanging out, boo. We'll talk soon.